It's so hard to imagine this is for real when you see this beautiful scene in China. Hello, everyone. My name is CGTN reporter Zhao Yunfei. We're bringing you live from the Dajiu Lake in Shennongjia area. Shennongjia forestry is one of the biggest forestry in central China. This place is very interesting because Shennongjia has very diverse climate. That's why just now, if you just saw me on TV, it was raining, it was pouring, it was raining heavily. But right now, they're about to get clear. Although it's still a little bit cloudy, but the sky is getting clearer and clearer. That's why I said at the beginning, it's hard to imagine this is for real. You can see the clouds going over the mountains. This is the Dajiu Lake. In Chinese, it means Dajiu Hu, means Great Nine Lakes, but not necessarily there are 9 lakes. This place is called a wetland park in the Shennongjia area. The reason why they call it wetland is because this is basically a kind of a lower place in terms of altitude in the Shennongjia forestry. And wetland has believed to be a very treasure resource for forestry, especially for the nature, because it's kind of maintains the balanced ecosystem in the nature. It maintains the relationship between the water, between the organism in the water, between the birds and other species. That's why people over here treat it as treasure. Later on, we'll also touch upon the tourism industry of this area. But first of all, today we will bring you some discussions and analysis about the geographical advantage of Shennongjia, as well as the wetland, the resources of wetland in Shennongjia. Once again, I'm Zhao Yunfei. We're bringing you live from Shennongjia Dajiu Lake with cameraman Meng Mingwei and assistant Yuan Xinliang. And over here, we will bring you some discussion about the geographical advantage over here. And first of all, if you have any questions, just feel free to leave your question on our social media platforms. We are going to you live on mobile devices, tablet devices, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Sina Weibo, you name it, and leave your comment over there. Do ask questions. We have 2 experts today, and we'll be able to answer all your questions. First of all, let me introduce our first guest over here, Mr. Chen Jinxin. Hello, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Chen Jinxin. I'm the Deputy Director of the Geopark Management Office of the Shennongjia National Park.
I think you have a very interesting experience because you were a college your university English teacher, but now turns up to be a staff over here. What makes you here?
Shennongjia is my hometown. After I worked in Wuhan lived in Wuhan for 12 years, and when the Shennongjia started to applicate for the title of the Global Geopark, I came back and helped them to applicate the title. And in 2013, Shennongjia became a member of the Global Geoparks Network.
So what does it mean to you as a local people when they turn to a geopark reserve? What does it mean to you?
The geopark, there are several principles of the geopark. First, it will focus on the geology, and it will educate people about the geoscience, and through geotourism, it will develop the local economy.
Of course. So later today, we'll touch on about the local economy. But can you please, first of all, help us introduce what is over here right now? As you can see, there's water flowing from upper side to downside. What is this, Mr. Chen?
This is a sinkhole. It's a sinkhole where the surface water flows into the underground river system.
So to explain it better, so the upper level is basically the above the ground water, but over here during this water hole, all the water system will go underneath. So I know there's some advantage of Shennongjia's water system, water quality in terms of underground water quality. It has some special elements that good for people's bones.
Yes, because the bedrock here is limestone and dolostone, which contains calcium.
Okay.
Yes, these rocks are can be very easily corroded by water. The water contains carbon dioxide, corrode the rock, and so the water contains a lot of the mineral elements.
And also there's a saying, very interesting metaphor, saying that every 10 drop of water that people from Beijing and Tianjin ever drink, one drop is from Shennongjia area. Can you explain more of that?
Yes, you can see the water from this Great Nine Lakes flows into the underground system through these sinkholes. There are 47 sinkholes in this area, and this one is the biggest. The water flows into the underground river through these sinkholes and flows north, and the river re-emerges in the county to the north of Shennongjia, and it will continue to flow north and join the Hanjiang River, which flows into the Danjiang Reservoir, which is one of the biggest resources of the middle route of the south to north water diversion project.
South to north water diversion project. There's a little background over here, 南水北调, which means that the northern part of China, they're really scarce in water, especially clean water. So when the people started drinking water, what they do with that? So they use the water system from the south. So China conduct a very ambitious project, putting the water from the south side of China up to the north, and over here, this place, partial part of the water will go to the Beijing-Tianjin area. So if you happen to live in the capital, maybe some of your water, part of your tea is from over here. I know that this is not the only water hole, but this is the biggest water hole in this area. So how many smaller water holes do they have?
We have discovered over 40 sinkholes.
Over 40 sinkholes.
Yeah.
So why? Can you show us more? You tell me there's another one over that side, right?
Yes. There's a little one over there. It's not working now, but in flood season it will start to work.
So right besides the bigger one.
Yes.
Oh, you can tell there's kind of a smaller stream of water flowing from upside to downside. It's over there. So how does the let's go around. Let's go around over here. Once again, we're bringing you live from CGTN's all media platforms. We're right now at the Dajiu Wetland Reserve in Shennongjia Forestry in central China. We will bring you live from CGTN social media platforms, from Facebook to Twitter, from Sina Weibo to our mobile devices. As we're climbing up to the hill, we're exploring more water holes in the Dajiu Lake area. Right here is the Wetland Reserve. This is called the number 9 lake, 9号湖 of the Dajiu Lake. So, Mr. Chen, tell us about how did they shape the water hole? How does the water hole was shaped?
As I mentioned before, the bedrock in the underneath this area is limestone. It can be easily corroded by acid.
Okay.
This area, as you see, is a karst basin. As the surface water flows downwards, and it corroded the bedrock and formed many vertical or horizontal channels of the underground river.
Right.
And when the underground river system collapsed, and also as the surface water continued to corrode the ground surface, the ground level went down, and so formed this landform. We call this landform a karst basin. Okay. You can picture this landform as a big bowl. So these sinkholes are the holes in the bottom of this bowl.
So you also told me that yesterday that because when the underground water collapses, therefore it shapes the kind of the geographical system of the Dajiu wetland area. in terms of what altitude wise, it's kind of a lower place over the entire system.
Yes.
So because they're all high mountains over here, but this place is all flat. It's all plain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here we will have a good view over here. You can have an interesting view over here of the entire water hole. How big is this?
It's about 100 square meters.
I can't especially tell how the water is drilled underneath, because it looks like the flow is not quite big.
Yes, because there is only not a big hole down here. There is a small hole down here with the artificial slope, so it looks bigger than it really is.
That makes sense. Okay, let's go straight forward. I think, Mr. Chen, there is a myth. There is a hypothesis that the entire world has just one water system. What's your comment on that?
Yes, we can understand the water circulation of the globe as that the water system is a whole part. Because all the surface waters, all the rivers, all the lakes, the water will finally flow into the sea, and through vaporization, the water will go into the atmosphere and then get back down to the ground. Yeah.
Okay, so given that background, in that case, why do you think that we should protect the water resources of the environment? Will we ever put in a situation that the water is completely scarce?
No, but the water will. There will be a balance of water circulation, but in some areas there won't be enough fresh water for people to use. So we should protect these fresh water sources, so we can use safe water.
Can you give us an idea, in the Shennongjia area in general, what is the overall water quality condition, or what is the overall amount of flow of water over here? How much resources can Shennongjia provide, and how much resource can we exploit?
I'm not sure about the specific quantity, but as you see, Shennongjia protect the biggest primary forest in central China, so it can be seen as an enormous water bank. So and also the forest coverage in Shennongjia is over 96%. So through the filtration, the water quality is very good. So it also guarantees that the water we send north is safe to drink. Yeah.
Mr. Chen, I also know that you have knowledge in terms of the entire system, the entire geographical advantage of the Shennongjia area. Can you briefly give us an idea, what is the entire geographical shape like in Shennongjia? Why Shennongjia area has so diversified climate?
Yes. Over 1.6 billion years ago, Shennongjia area is a vast sea. About 1.2 billion years ago, there was several mountain building movements.
Right.
And the collision between two little plates caused a series of folds. Right. That means the bending of the rocks in this area, and this area was lifted up repeatedly, and then formed this landform with high mountains. all the 6 mountains over 3,000 meters in central China are all here in Shennongjia. So we call Shennongjia is the roof of central China.
So how can they tell what happened to the Earth over this place thousands or millions of years ago?
Yes, we can do geological research through observing the profiles, the rock profiles along the road, and we can learn that the oldest rock is 1.6 billion years old.
1.6 billion years old.
Yes.
Well, I believe 1.6 billion years ago, it wasn't like this, right?
Yes, 1.6 billion years ago, there's actually only one big supercontinent on the Earth. About 8 to 600 million years ago, the supercontinent split into many small pieces, and the total length of the coastline greatly increased, and the shallow sea level is very good for the growth of plants like algae. Mm-hmm. So the photosynthesis of these plants consumes carbon dioxide and creates oxygen. Mm-hmm. And gradually changed the composition of the atmosphere.
We just yesterday we also mentioned about Shennongjia is a National Geographic heritage, nature heritage.
Yes, World Heritage Natural Site. Yeah.
World Heritage Natural Site, and this is very treasured because not all the places would be able to have this title, right?
Yes, there are 43 World Heritage sites in China, and only 13 of them are natural sites.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned about the 10 categories that as long as it fulfills one category, it could be called a World Natural Heritage Site. What would the 10 categories are, and what categories that Shennongjia fulfill?
Yes, first, Shennongjia is a typical representative for the mountain ecosystem. As you can see, the highest place in Shennongjia, the altitude is 3,106.2 meters, and the lowest point is 400 meters above sea level. So this big height difference creates diversified ecosystems. Mm-hmm. So this diversified ecosystems and diversified climate make Shennongjia the home of many rare and endangered species. Shennongjia is the home of 3,767 plant species, over 600 vertebrate species, and over 4,300 insect species. So this rich biodiversity makes Shennongjia qualified for the World Heritage title.
Okay, on Facebook, Floria Avendage Castle says a nice lake, really beautiful, and place is calm. I like it. I totally agree. This is a very calm. It's very quiet over here. Although it's weekend, many tourists are over here. It's still very calm over here. Grace Lee said, "Wow, nice and beautiful place. Heat Trump, awesome nature. Mashat Ham. Where's this place? Well, this place is called the Dajiu Lake Wetland Reserve in central China's Shennongjia area. So any last word, Mr. Chen? Why, after observing this, why do you think that we should protect the environment?
Yes, the nature is our home. Without the nature, we will lose our home and lose everything we've got, our food, our shelter. So to protect the environment is to protect our home. So that's what I think, why we should protect the environment.
Thank you so much. Good words. Thank you, Mr. Chen. Great to see you today.
Great to see you.
Thanks a lot. Okay, let me introduce you to another expert right over here. We're bringing you live on CGTN's social media platform on Facebook, Twitter, as well as Sina Weibo and mobile devices. We're at the Dajiu Lake in Shennongjia area. This place is believed to be the natural reserve, the wetland reserve of the entire area. So let's talk to a wetland expert, Mr. Zhang Zhiqi. Hello. 您能给我一个大体的一个介绍，就是这个地方的这个湿地资源有多么丰富？
是这样的，我们现在的话，大九湖湿地的话，就是它的水资源这一块的话，现在是非常受关注的，因为我们处在这个大巴山脉的这个区域的话，是我们中国的南水北调中线工程的一个水源涵养区，生态地位非常重要。根据我们的监测测算以后的话，这个大九湖湿地每年呢，像那个我们的丹江口水库贡献的水资源量的话，接近是1个亿立方米。
So this is, as we mentioned, because every 10 drop of water, there's one drop from. If you happen to live in the Chinese capital, every 10 drop of water you drink, one of it is from the Shennongjia area. It's kind of a giant project, as we mentioned. The northern side of China is really scarce in water. And that's why the government conduct a very ambitious project to kind of shift the water from the south to the north. So how would they do it? Basically, they chose kind of a central midpoint, especially, for example, somewhere like here in central China, to kind of bring the water up to the north. 那这个地方之所以称为这个湿地保护，为什么我们要保护这里的湿地环境呢？
同时的话就是。因为这山区的山民啊，他们以前长期以来是靠山吃山，靠水吃水，在早期的原始的这种低效的农业开发和利用的过程中呢，对我们当地的生态环境，造成了一定的负面影响。后面呢，也是经过很多的专家学者以及高层领导的一个呼吁啊，然后这个大九湖湿地啊，作为一个生态价值特别高的区域了。被纳入了一个保护的范围。
So it's conducting basically a closed management. Before this, there are farmers living in the mountains, but since 2013, about 400 households were relocated outside to a town nearby, which is about 20 kilometers away. The reason why the local government is doing that because the human activities would have a strong influence on the nature. So that's why they kind of relocate the people over there. We'll talk about how the people over that side is trying to kind of make a living by boosting the tourism industry, but the strategy of leaving people away or conducting a closed management is to make sure this place is not being destroyed. 之前我采访您，你也之前说到了，就是说我们这个地方，因为之前的早期的这个破坏，其实我们的生态系统这个整个的食物链是不完善的。现在我们有什么办法把它们修复呢？
现在我们就是在对里面的外来的一些不适当的一些入侵种，比如说我们的亚洲的鲤鱼啊，还有我们这边的鲫鱼这些东西，它们的话是没有水体里面的捕食者，对它们进行一个捕猎的，它的食物链是不完整的。现在的话，我们进一步的治理措施了，就是通过水草的打捞啊，然后降低水体里面的营养元素啊。
So basically, they're trying to control the ecosystem over here. You can see people over here, they're so happy, taking pictures, and this is a very beautiful scene. 这个地方是人为修建的吗？
对，因为这个是为了恢复地表的那个我们的水是一个水文环境啊，一个水文环境，然后修建了一些溢流口在这边，然后让这些湖泊串联起来，最后汇入这个落水口那边。
So basically, this construction is a man-made construction. The strategy for doing that is to connect all the lakes over here. 我们知道大九湖呢，虽然说是大九湖，但是并不是9个湖，是吧？这怎么讲呢？
对，大九湖的话是因湖而名，相传是我们的炎帝神农氏搭架采药来到这个地方的时候呢，在9条小溪旁边支起9口大锅熬制药膏。他离开之后呢，9个大锅幻化成了9个湖泊，因而得名叫大九湖。但是实际上呢，是9是因为是最大的个位数嘛。然后在中国的话，我们经常都会说这个是 久为数大嘛，然后就是说誉为湖泊众多之地啊。
So, to give you a little bit background about Shennongjia, Shennong is the surname of the emperor, and when he came over here, the legend has it when he came over here, he cooked with 9 bowls, and that's why they say that there's 9 lakes. But the 9 is just trying to describe the number of the lakes, giving the diversity of the water system over here. 那我们这个湿地，现在我们这个湿地的这个状况，之前您提到了，就是我们现在的湿地状况，其实能够说明就是很多年前，就是能够讲述很多年前发生的事情哈。咱们这个湿地是什么特点？
大九湖湿地最主要的一个核心的科研价值的话，就在于它的泥炭地。大九湖的泥炭地的话，它沉积的年代非常久远。根据这个科学家相关的这个申钻的一个记录啊。他们发现，实际上大九湖湿地呢，在27.5万年以前的话，就已经有沼泽湿地在发育了，而且它在这个沼泽地泥炭沉积的过程中呢，记录了华中地区气候变化的一个过程。
275,000 years ago. There has already shaped the wetland over here. So if you see the quality, if you dig out some of the elements in the wetland, you'll be able to tell how the mud is interacted with the trees, and from the condition of the trees, you'll be able to tell what happened through years ago. 为什么我们要保护湿地呢？
首先我们刚才有说到，它是一个重要的一个水资源的一个涵养区域，然后对于我们这个南水北调中线工程呢，它有重大的一个生态价值在这里。同时呢，它现在的话，通过我们的一个生态保护的话，当地的一个经济的增产增收啊，它的促进作用也是非常明显的。刚才也有看到有游客进入这边进行一个游憩，它现在也是我们大九湖湿地的一个价值的一个，就是我们巨大生态价值的一个变现嘛。
So from the geographical advantage, from direct and indirect advantage, the wetland can kind of both keep the balanced ecosystem as well as bring in more tourism income of this area. 谢谢张老师. Thank you so much. 感谢您. Thank you so much. All right. So let me tell you more a little bit about the tourism industry. 20 kilometers away, there is a town also named Dajiu town, which people were relocated from 2013 at this place to that place. Of course, as you can tell, people has made sacrifices, but also they receive subsidy from the government. People over here, we have a kind of tour over there last night. We see people doing tourism businesses. We see people, some also entrepreneurs come over here to begin their startups over here. This is a new attempt of developing the tourism industry. So that can be tell from the indirect influence of the wetland preservation, the wetland reserve. But from the direct perspective, wetland had the food sources of the birds, of other species. It's believed to be more precious than sand, than many other materials. So that's why the Chinese government is paying close attention to the wetland area. If you take a look at the coastal cities in China, in the past 20 decades or 2 decades or so, there is a kind of over consumption of the wetland. But now, all the construction by the wetland has been suspended. That's why local government as well as the central government paying close attention to the environmental protection. 20 years ago, when the Shennongjia area is still at the roughly 30 years ago, when the Shennongjia area is at the process of rampant deforestation, cutting woods is the major incoming of the area. Well, that's not wrong. That's not illegal, I would like to say. Because at that time, the sources was very scarce, the industry was not very advanced. So when people cutting wood, and that's basically the only incoming for people make for a living. But as the industry has improved, people start to talk about the environmental protection. And that's why we see today's Shennongjia area is so rich in resource, both animal diversity and plants diversity. We wish you to get a good impression over here. Over the past weeks or so, we did an investigative reporting over the Shennongjia area. You probably already see some of my reports, but do check out those reports on CGTN social media platforms. We would like to see more of your comments from all media platforms. But that's due for this edition of live streaming. We thank you for watching. My name is Zhao Yunfei on behalf of camera Meng Mingwei and assistant Yuan Xinliang. We thank you for your company and see you next time. 好。